everybody. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk about Hoopla, which is a free service from the Keller Public Library. It allows you to access videos, music, audiobooks, ebooks, and comics, and it's all ad-free and free with your library card. Just a note about who I am. My name is Anne Flanoy. I am the Adult Services Librarian here at the Keller Public Library. You probably have, if you've been in the library before, run into me at the reference desk. I've been in this position for almost exactly 1 year now. So let's talk about Hoopla. What is it? Hoopla is a service, like I said, from the public library, which allows you to use your computer, tablet, smartphone, smart TV to instantly access titles that you can stream or even download, and there's never any wait lists. Who can access Hoopla? This is the million-dollar question. Because the Keller Library is the sole subscriber to Hoopla, you have to hold a Keller Library card. But anyone who holds a Keller Library card has access to Hoopla. So we did recently just announce that we are splitting up our partnership with the Fort Worth Library. And so a lot of families are considering whether it would be beneficial to them to subscribe to the Keller Library as a non-resident. And this is one of the features that you would get with that non-resident card. You would get access to Hoopla. Any age group, you can see we've got our kids cards, teens and adults here. Any Keller Library card can set up an account. If you hold the library card at another area library, just check with your library to see if they subscribe. Just know that the Fort Worth Library does not. So what do we mean when we say there are never any wait lists? If you are a regular library user, or if you're familiar with our program, Libby or Overdrive, you know that when we have super popular materials, we have a limited number of copies available, and sometimes you have to wait through the holds queue to get to your turn. Now with Hoopla, that's not the case. We're going to get kind of technical here for a minute, and you'll see why in a minute. But when libraries purchase digital materials, they use different licensing rules for different products, and these are called lending models. So all of the content that we have available on Hoopla uses a pay-per-use lending model, which means that an unlimited number of people can use that content simultaneously, and the library is only going to pay for what gets used. So what it all boils down to is that everything that the Keller Library provides on Hoopla is never going to have any wait lists, even on the super popular stuff. Now, Hoopla did just enter into the world of other lending models recently, and so some other libraries may offer materials that have wait lists on them through their Hoopla, but we have elected to stick with the pay-per-use model in Hoopla and keep our other content with the other lending models in Libby and Overdrive. So the first question you're going to want to know, now that you know how it works, is how many things can I check out? You have a monthly user checkout limit, which is 8 titles a month. And that lending limit will reset automatically right after midnight on the first day of the next month. So you can check out 8 things every calendar month. You can return them early. It doesn't really help you. It doesn't get you another checkout. You can check out all 8 of them at the same time. You can check out 1 a week and then only use 4 in a month. But if you use up all 8 of your titles and then you try and check out a 9th, you're going to get an error message that looks a little like this in the middle of your screen here. It says you've reached your monthly lending limit. See you next month. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's not going to let you check out anything until the month turns over. Hoopla does offer what are called bonus borrows, and this is a rotating featured content list of things that you can check out that don't count against your normal 8 borrows each month. So keep an eye out for those. You might get lucky and find something you like there. One other checkout limit you should be aware of is a collective daily borrow limit. This is a budgetary limit that the library has set. Because this is a pay-per-use model, that means the library is paying a fee literally every time a user checks something out. So we have to set a cap on how many checkouts we can have in one day. Otherwise, our budget's going to get out of control. It's really complicated how that limit is set, and there's an intense algorithm that's used. It's actually not the same number every day. But let's say today's borrow limit is $200, and if we reach that $200 by noon, then after noon, there's not going to be any more checkouts for the rest of the day, and then after midnight, it'll reset and you can start checking out again. So if you encounter this error, that's what the error here is going to mention. It's going to say the collective daily borrow limit set by your library has been reached. Try again after midnight. When we first started with Hoopla, we saw this error message a little more. Since then, we've gotten a lot better at regulating this and setting our budgets. And like I said, we use a pretty intense algorithm to set the limit. So we aren't encountering this as often, but I just want to mention it to you because this is a very different error message from the one we see before, where if you're trying to check out your 9th title. So sometimes people will get confused if they get this error message and they know that they haven't used up all 8 of their borrows for the month. This is actually a collective borrow limit. So you're going in with all of the Keller Library users on this particular limit. But like I said, you shouldn't see that one very often. I do get asked a lot how the content is selected for Hoopla. And you should know that all of the content is actually selected by the Hoopla staff. The library just subscribes to the platform as a whole. So our librarians don't have any control over what is actually going into Hoopla. They do add new content constantly, and sometimes old content is removed. So just be aware that it is kind of a rotating collection. So you might find something new next month that wasn't there last month. So there's really 2 main ways to access Hoopla. The first is using your web browser, and then the second is going to be using an app. The first one here, what we're talking about is using your web browser, and that's what I'm going to show you today because I'm on a laptop. But you can obviously just type in the Hoopla web address here and get directly there, or you can link into it from the library's website. This area here, this is a portion of the library's homepage, and you can see there's a button here for digital resources. That takes you to this page here on the left, and there's a button towards the top for Hoopla. Most people will probably use Hoopla using an app, and it is available for pretty much everything these days. You can see we've got it here for Kindle, iPhone, Android, and then these are going to be all your TV devices. So the easiest way is just going to go to your device's app store and download the app just by searching Hoopla, just like you would any other app, and it should be pretty self-explanatory from there. One thing I do want to mention here, if you are downloading it on one of these TV devices, there is the possibility that you won't have all of the material formats on your TV. Like for instance, I have Hoopla on my Fire TV at home, and it doesn't allow me to check out ebooks using the Fire TV. I assume they did that because you're not really going to be using your TV to be checking out ebooks or reading ebooks. So just know that you might not see everything if you're looking at it on the TV, whereas if you're using one of the other apps, you do have that possibility. Let's try it out. So like I said, we're using the web version of Hoopla today. So this is what it's going to be like if you are on a laptop or a desktop computer. So, the first thing I want to point out to you is if we scroll all the way down here, there are actually links here to downloading those apps. So if you navigate to this page on your mobile device, you could just click on one of these links. If you're not very good at using your app store, that might be a good option for you to get the app. One thing I don't think I mentioned before is that everyone who wants to use Hoopla actually has to set up an account. You don't just type in your library card number and go. You have to set up an account that is attached to an email address. And every library card number has to have a unique email address. So if you're setting up accounts for your whole family, and you want everybody to have their own Hoopla account, they'll also need to have their own email address. To sign up, it's real easy. You're just going to click on this Get Started Today link, and then you'll type in your email and create a password. just agree to the terms and conditions. And then I'm not going to do this. I already have an account. But if you go to the next step, it's going to ask you for your home library, which it does automatically populate to whatever library you are closest to. And then you're going to type in your library card number, which is the whole number on the back of your library card with no spaces. And then you just click on a link that says sign me up, and that's it. You should immediately get an email that says, you know, welcome to Hoopla, and then it spells out your loan limits and your loan periods and tells you all sorts of stuff and how to get in. But we are just going to log in and start taking a look. So right away, you can see we could just browse just by scrolling through the homepage here. There's lots of lists and featured content. We can also browse up here at the top by selecting your preferred format. So if you know you're just here for music, you can go to this music, ebooks, television. And if you click on these, it's going to take you to like a new homepage that's only going to feature that format. So now what we're looking at is only TV shows. Whereas if we go in here, we can look at only audiobooks. Audiobooks actually, incidentally, are the most popular content on Hoopla. There's also a good search bar here, which is a keyword search. So you can type just about anything in here. Authors, titles. Let's see. I know that I love Ann Patchett, the author. So let's just type her in and see what we get. Right away, you'll see that some of our results are ebooks and some of them are audiobooks. They have this little icon here to give you an indication of what it is. So let's click on one that interests us. And we're going to get all sorts of good information here. So you can see the page number, the length of the novel, a summary, the publication year. You can get a good look at the cover of it. And then down here, I'm going to show you all of these similar artists. These are all links. So if you see someone else down here that's interesting, we can click on that and it'll take us to that author instead, which is cool. All right, what else? Oh, so you may have heard me mention earlier in the presentation, favorites. Favorites are a way that Hoopla lets you create lists. And how you do it is you just click on this heart right here by title. And now it turns pink. So now this item is saved in our favorites. Let's try another search and see. So I'm going to search Lin-Manuel Miranda. I just use him as an example because you can see he has a hyphen in his name, but I didn't have to type the hyphen and it still found him, which is exciting. But he should have some of the other formats here. Yeah, so right away we see there's music. Here's a movie. And again, it's the same kind of information, links, related titles. We can click here to add it to our favorites. Music is interesting because it actually has a track listing of everything on this CD, which can be really handy. Now, when you're checking out a CD, you're actually checking out an entire album and not just one of the songs. But when you're checking out a TV show, you're checking them out episode by episode. One cool thing that it does show you here is every time you open up a title, it's going to tell you exactly what the loan period is for that item. So you can see this music CD is loaned for 7 days. Movies you will get for 3 days, and everything else is 3 weeks. So books, ebooks, audiobooks, and comics are all going to be 3 weeks. Anything that has this oval around it is going to be a link which you can click on to go in to see more things, which is pretty cool. Oh, let me show you how you actually check something out. So let's say you found something you're interested in. We want to listen to the La La Land soundtrack. So right here, this borrow button, that's how you borrow it. You just click borrow. And then again, it's going to confirm here how long you have with it. And And then a note here that you can stream it or download it. So since I'm using the web browser version of Hoopla, I actually won't have the option to download it here. You have to be on a mobile device to download it and listen to it offline. So if you're using Hoopla on your tablet or your phone, you can download it and then you would be able to use it offline. Like if you have limited data or you are on an airplane or something like that. That's really good. So I'm actually not going to borrow this title because, like I said, it's pay per use and I don't want to have to pay for this that I'm not going to use to show you. But there's not a whole lot of steps after this. You just borrow it and then you can actually start using it right away. If you do check something out and you're ready to use it, it's real easy to find just up here in My Hoopla under Currently Borrowed. And anything you have checked out is going to be right here. Now they'll automatically return at the end of their loan period. You don't have to worry about any kind of due dates or late fees. It just automatically disappears from your account. We talked about the favorites, but let's look at them a little bit. It does divide it out by format, which is really handy. So all of your ebooks are going to be listed together, all your movies, music, television, it's going to be separated. You can also open an item here from your favorites and borrow it from there. So it's real handy if you want to keep like a to be read list in your favorites. And then you can take it off of your favorites after you've read it by just unclicking the heart. And then if we go back, it's not going to be there anymore. Talked about downloading already. I'm going to show you a few of the settings that might affect you. If you look here at your account, you can opt into some emails that'll tell you about upcoming releases. You'll get information on those bonus borrows that I mentioned that don't go against your monthly borrows. Kids mode is really handy if you're setting up an account for a kid. It's going to block anything that has a parental advisory note on it. And then your borrowing history is just tracking the things that you check out so that you can go back and recheck them out or just view them again. I mentioned that parental advisory, but I want to show you what it looks like. You may have seen it. I think, yeah, see this red PA, that's a parental advisory. And then you can see the little industry standard guy on this one as well. So if we were in a kids mode, this item would not show up in our search results. You do have, that's just doing keywording search that I showed you earlier, but you do have the option to do an advanced search, which allows you to get a lot more granular with your searching. You can search specific things. One thing I find really handy is searching by series. So like we can type in Minecraft here and it's going to pull up everything related to Minecraft, which is pretty cool, which there are a surprisingly high number of items published about Minecraft. Or let's say Harry Potter. Hoopla has all of the Harry Potters in audio and in different languages, which is pretty cool. You have the option over here to filter. So if we wanted Harry Potter in French, we could find that. Format, you can do ebooks, audiobooks, and if there were movies, they would show here as well. So that's searching and browsing. Hopefully that gives you a pretty good picture of what you're looking at. If you feel like you still don't have a good grasp of things, there is a couple more places that you can look for help. Niche Academy is something that we offer on our library website, and they are video tutorials for our different digital services. And we have some for Hoopla. So if you can find them on our library website, you can see here, it's just a video. I'm actually gonna play this one for you in a second. But you can, what's really good about this is it has device specific tutorials. So like if you're struggling to get Hoopla to work on your Kindle Fire, you could watch this video and it would give you a overview of what it is. It also breaks it down with good illustrations and steps. But like I said, let's play this one because this is actually going to give you a little bit of a look at what it looks like when you actually borrow. So the reason I wanted to show you this part is because this is what your currently borrowed shelf looks like. So you can see if you're ready to read Dino Thanksgiving just on your currently borrowed shelf, just click that big play button and it's going to open it up for you to read. And it's going to go automatically into the device ones here. It's just set to autoplay. Just a plug here for Niche Academy. It has some good resources, not just for the digital offerings that the library has, but anything that you would do on the computer like Facebook, Gmail. There's some good video tutorials on here, computer basics and stuff like that too. But let's go back to, so I want to show you, there's also a lot of good video tutorials on Hoopla's YouTube channel. So they've got a lot of like book talks and author talks and stuff here at the beginning. But if you get down here, they've got some good intro videos and device videos to help you get started and to actually use Hoopla on your device. So you can give those a look as well. And these are created actually by Hoopla, so they're pretty good stuff. Yeah. So if you still feel like you need more help, of course, you can always talk to the librarians here at the library, or you can call us or email us. 817-743-4840 gets you directly to the reference department, and library@cityofkeller.com is the same thing. We're happy to help you anytime with Hoopla or any of our digital offerings. Thanks for joining me today. I hope we answered a lot of your questions and gave you a good look at Hoopla. Give it a shot. It's a pretty cool platform that you should be able to do a lot of good stuff with. So have fun.